Hi guys, Darth Deuces here, back in our Star Wars: The Black Series action figure review. And today, taking a look at a character in this specific look that's long been overdue for an upgrade. This is Han Solo as he appeared in A New Hope. So I reviewed Chewbacca from A New Hope previously, who also needed an upgrade from his original Black Series figure. And now we have a new one of Han Solo. I think the old one was okay. I did own it, just like Chewbacca. I got rid of it, so I don't have it for comparison anymore, unfortunately. It was okay, but definitely starting to show its age, both in posability, proportions. Had a really long neck. They never made any version of that figure with face printing either or anything like that. And I'm happy that they went down and did an entirely new sculpt for Han here. So he's got all the nice new Black Series articulation and engineering. And this figure kind of surprised me actually of how good it is. They really, I think, knocked it out of the park for the most part. I was lucky. I was definitely on my radar. I wasn't in a super hurry to get it. I was able to get them on a bit of a sale though, which was nice. Nothing too crazy, but a few dollars, always counts here and there. But yeah, so let's take a closer look at the head sculpt and face print, which I think is actually pretty good for the most part. I think it looks better in person than it does in the promotional renders. I feel like at some angles it really looks like young Harrison Ford. Like I feel like right there on the side profile, and even straight on, I think it still looks a lot like him. Maybe not 100%. It is definitely one of those likenesses that Hasbro has a really tough time capturing, but it's really good, and I think it might be my favorite Harrison Ford likeness on a figure outside of Hot Toys. The Indiana Jones ones come close, although those face printings are really glossy. The ESB one still isn't bad. I'll do a comparison with that. I think this one is the best, though. I don't know. But I think it looks really good. And then I like the hair sculpt as well. It's poofy and a bit longer like it was in the first movie. And I really like the paint wash they put through the hair to bring out all the nice sculpted detail and make it look a bit more realistic. That's great. The torso looks really good. I like what they did with the torso, actually. The tunic is actually a separate overlay piece, so it adds some more realistic depth from his bare torso to the collar of the shirt he's wearing, which I think is really cool. The vest is nice, nothing too crazy there, but some nice sculpting work. And the sleeves all sculpted well. One thing that is kind of weird is on the elbow on mine, where the hinge joint is like this big like layer of plastic just kind of peeled off. I don't know what's going on with that. If it's like, I think like it's supposed to cover the joint, and I don't know, like just articulating it kind of bent it out and messed it up. I don't really know what's going on there. Kind of tear it away a bit. That's kind of weird. But even with it gone, I think it still matches the color of the sleeve more or less. So I don't really know what's going on there. And you got the hands. His right hand sculpted in a grip trigger finger hand, and his left hand can still grip stuff, but is in this more kind of open dynamic hand. So that's kind of cool. You can kind of have him do the, if you want, you can kind of have him do the Harrison Ford point, which is kind of fun. Then he's got his belt for his actual pants. Then you got the gun belt with some nice silver paint on the buckle and on the doodads are all individually painted on his belt, and the buckles on the front at least. You do have a fully painted comlink. It would have been kind of nice if this was a removable accessory. It's not though. You got the holster, which is functioning. Holds his blaster pistol, which we'll take a look at in a second. Pants look good with the sculpted like lines here, and they're painted as well with the boots that look pretty good as well. But overall, it's a really good looking figure. I have no real complaints about the actual look and aesthetic of this one. Yeah, very pleased with it. Articulation wise, he's also very well articulated. You have a dumbbell joint in the neck, base of the head and base of the neck. So he looks down, looks up just a bit. Pretty decent pivot and rotation. You have hinges and swivels at the shoulders. They do move pretty well. He also has a pretty good butterfly joint. You can see it's quite deeply cut and it's covered by the vest, which is nice. So you can get him his arms in a decent amount. The vest obviously hinders it a bit, but it does go in a decent amount. It does go back a bit. And then you can rotate. There's a single hinge there that goes further than 90, which is great, and rotates. And then you have the new ball jointed ball socket joint wrist, so you can go up and down, you can go in and out, rotate, do whatever you want with those, which is awesome. Torso joints, which arches back a decent amount, crunches forward just a little bit, and you do get some pivot and nice rotation. The hip joints forward, back a little bit. They no swivel cut thighs, but you do have the indent in the hip joints. There's a bit of rotation there. A single hinge of the knee that goes past 90, rotates there at the hinge joint. There is also a boot cut, a hinge at the ankle that moves pretty good, and rocker for ankle pivot. So great articulation. You can really get him in most of the poses that you're going to want, that you saw him in the movie and whatnot. In terms of accessories, though, this is probably the biggest complaint with the figure. He doesn't come with much. He only comes with one thing, being his pistol. So the strap is functional there. It just pegs in. It's not too much of a pain in the ass, which is nice. The pistol stores very securely. And here it is. This might be a new sculpt. I actually don't know. There's no paint on it, unfortunately. It would have been nice to get some paint on the grip and as well as the end of the barrel. That would have been cool. The old figure had that, so that's a bit unfortunate. This one doesn't. But he does grip it very nice and securely in the trigger hand, and I think looks pretty good. And you can get him posed in pretty much the classic, a lot of the classic poses. I'm trying to do this off kind of memory here, but you can get him pretty dynamically posed. So that is cool, but it's a lot less accessories, especially compared to the original figure that came with the interchangeable Stormtrooper belt with the E11 blaster and came with a set of gloved hands. I don't really mind. He doesn't come with the gloved hands too much, although it would have been cool. The Stormtrooper belt would have been a really nice inclusion with the blaster. Like I said, making the comic removable might have been kind of cool. And maybe even some interchangeable hands for some different expressions or whatnot, I think would have been nice. Just getting the pistol, it's classic Black Series, including not very many accessories. But that it would definitely be my one significant complaint with the figure. But other than that, I think it's definitely the best Han Solo in the Black Series line, and probably one of, if not the best, Han Solo figure that Hasbro has produced so far. They are doing a TVC update to A New Hope Han Solo later this year. I'll probably get it. But I don't know, for pictures, I just feel like this one looks a lot better. But we'll see. But yeah, it's a really good one. Really quickly, though, I'll do some comparison with a couple other figures. Like I said, unfortunately, I don't own the original one anymore. But here he is with the new Chewbacca that I reviewed previously, and I think these two look really good together. Definitely a really great set and a really great upgrade to the previous two. And then here he is with, I would say, the next best Black Series Han Solo you can get. You can maybe make an argument for the Andor one, I suppose, but here's the Bespin Han Solo. And the new one is just ever so slightly taller, I'd say. I don't know. I think this Bespin one is still not bad. I think the likeness isn't terrible. I don't know. I think the new one's head sculpt's a lot better. The proportions are definitely a lot better, especially in the legs. It doesn't have this really wide thigh gap. That just doesn't really make a lot of sense. I still like this figure. I'm going to keep it because it's Bespin Han. It's another pretty iconic look. But yeah, I definitely think this new Han Solo is a lot better. So if you collect Black Series, unless you're really specific on what you collect, I think this is honestly a must-have. It's a really great one. Maybe wait for a sale because it's probably one that won't sell out too quickly, but I do think it's kind of an essential one to the collection for a Black Series collector. So I definitely highly recommend it. And honestly, even at full price, it's a solid entry into the line. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video. May the Force be with you.